The Cornetto trilogy of movies are considered by many to be some of the greatest movies of all time. Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End are all classics in their own right. These films are masterclasses in comedy, editing, and acting, but today we'll be looking at the relationships between Simon Pegg's characters in each film and how they interact with the world and what their character arcs are in each respective movie. In Shaun of the Dead, Shaun is a slacker and somewhat of an everyman. His girlfriend broke up with him, he has a dead-end job, and is living with his friend Ed, who is even more of a slacker. Unsatisfied with his life, Shaun decides he's going to change his life, evidenced by Shaun taking a Diet Coke instead of just a regular Coke. Coincidentally, at the same time when Shaun decides to change his life, the world around him changes with the advent of a zombie apocalypse. With zombies running rampant through the street, Shaun tries to be a hero, and is presented as one, but the story juxtaposes this. Shaun plans to take everyone to the Winchester pub, where he believes everyone will be safe, while in reality the pub is not safe at all and everyone probably would have been safer in their own houses. At the end of the film, Shaun realizes his mistakes, and he breaks down, finally starting to be honest with Liz. But before anything meaningful can happen, the military comes in, and everything goes back to normal, with the only real difference being that Shaun is back with Liz. And Ed is a zombie now. In Hot Fuzz, Nicholas Angel appears to be much better off than Shaun was. He is the best police officer in his force, he is very calculating and very athletic. However, he is unable to form any meaningful connections with anyone as he is too preoccupied with his job. His arc in this movie is learning from Danny how to enjoy life and switch off. Through his friendship with Danny, he learns to value his relationships with others, and learns that while his job as a police officer is important, it's not the only thing in his life. The world remains static in this movie, but Nicholas adapts to it and some of its more frivolous and carefree aspects, and finally manages to enjoy life. In The World's End, Gary King appears to be somewhat similar to Shaun, as he seems to be a slacker as well, and both characters want to change their lives, but the issues they go through are very different. Gary is a suicide attempt victim who is desperately trying to cling on to his past when he was happy, to the point where he kept his same car from high school, the Beast, despite the car being so old that he replaced most of the parts that make up the car, such as the engine. Gary concocts a plan to reunite all of his old high school friends to complete the unfinished pub crawl from their youth, the Golden Mile. All of his friends have moved on, and no one except for Gary is really invested into the crawl, until they discover that many of the residents of their old hometown have been replaced with these blue-blooded robots which they call blanks, and they only continue the crawl to not be suspicious. Except for Gary, who is probably just glad his friends are continuing the pub crawl, and he gets to drink beer, as well as finishing what he started in high school. At the end of the film, when Gary and his remaining friends stand up to the network, the being responsible for the blanks, Gary grows to finally be proud of who he is, and the world ends up completely changing to a wasteland without technology, which ends up suiting his carefree lifestyle far more. So that is my video on the relationships between the characters and the worlds of the Cornetto trilogy. I hope you guys enjoyed it.